Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This is CVHS. Well, I don't know. And when I talked to the requester for this critique, I didn't ask. So, but that's okay. And he didn't say. Desert Talon Drill Meet. That's in Chandler, Arizona. Arizona, my state. I love my state. All right, here we go. Let's see. This is unarmed regulation. So I noticed this is from far away, so I kind of enlarged it on what you see. What I see is a bit farther back, but we'll do our best here. Oh, so they've already marched in, and yeah. Okay, I was just checking heads there. As the elements are away from each other, so it's only a step and a half, really, and you should be 3 steps away. Good command, flight tench hut. That was good. Now, Commander, you need to stop responding to your commands, okay? You are not part of the formation. When you're in color guard, you're part of the formation. You respond to the commands. That means that when when the team is at parade rest, you're going to call parade rest while you're standing at parade rest. Then you respond to the command by coming to attention. But you need to stop going to parade rest. You need to stop saluting. You are not a part of the formation. You are commanding the formation. Now, having said that, there's some weird, strange cadet myth that something in front of the formation needs to be salutable. So I'll make up words as I need them. Salute worthy. I don't know what you call it, but somebody needs to be in front, or something like a flag or whatever needs to be in front because of what? I have no idea. That's a myth. That has absolutely no basis in truth whatsoever. So the commander calls the command of present arms. You execute the command, and then the commander calls order arms. Then you, as part of the flight, you execute the command. Period. It's a command given and a command executed. So, just wanted to clear that up. So that's not how you count off in line formation. That's how you count off in column formation. And the reason why in column formation you turn your head to the right, call out your number, and then pop your head to the front. That lets the person behind you know your number, and also when they need to call their number. That's the whole point of that. So for the flight here in line formation, what you're going to do is count off. This is the only command in the U.S. military where in the manuals you can read on the command. It's okay, Scout. Sorry. So on the command, this is the only time that you're going to actually perform something on the command. Every other command is afterwards. So for this, it's count off, and then 1, 2, 3. You're looking for the notification. The head turns the notification. The announcement of the number is also telling you what your number is next. That's the whole point. So that was an incorrect technique there. Commander, you're not going to face with the flight. Whether you're going to give them more facing movements or whether you're going to march, you still don't face with the flight. You need to face the flight to call all commands when you are stopped, when you're standing. Why are you looking? What are you doing? And what's with the arms? Did you raise your arms to the close interval? It looked like it. Yeah, you did. Well, some of you did. Okay. So are you marching an army sequence? Because the Air Force doesn't use close interval march. It's close and extend. We get that from the Marine Corps. That was not even... So, Commander, you need to face your formation, and as they close, you're going to march at a half step forward. So to maintain that 3-step interval. And then when you extend, you're going to march at a half step backwards. And raising the arm and looking, nope, don't do that. You're not taking a full side step. That would be 12 inches for the Air Force. You're taking a metered step, an adjusted step, to make sure that when you get to the end here for closing, you're all at close interval. Then when you get to the end for extending, then you're all at normal interval. So that metered step needs to be the same all the way in and all the way out. Yeah, don't march backwards either. That's not what you're supposed to do. Okay, so apparently in the sequence it doesn't have you checking alignment. And honestly, every sequence needs to have the commander check alignment. That should be mandatory for everyone. And the reason is because the judge needs to see you go through the process. You shouldn't go through and say 1 up, steady, or not 1, but 2 up, steady, 3 back, steady. That getting the more accurate alignment isn't necessary. It's just going through the procedure of the phases in marching and all that. Marching backwards is not appropriate. And then when you do check alignment, then you come back after you check alignment and you're properly placed. So as soon as you give open ranks, you're 3 steps away, or you should be, Commander, 3 steps away. You execute that face in march off to get to the right side of the first element leader, and then you can you avoid marching backwards completely. So I would suggest doing it. If the sequence says do not check for alignment, fine. Then you've got to make that ridiculous adjustment of marching backwards. But if it doesn't say it, check alignment. Do it, because it's going to save you from not following the procedure and looking a little silly, honestly. So I'm looking at the hands here. Look how this cadet here has hands cupped at the side. See, hands cupped at the side, thumb on, at least her thumb looks to be centered on the thigh, and centered on thigh is the thumb along the trouser leg, the seam of the trouser leg. But here, that thumb is way forward. That's a kind of a lazy position of attention. So there shouldn't be any tension in the body except enough tension to cup the hands and then pull those hands back so that the thumbs are along the seams of the trouser leg. Well done for the commands there, but the not as accurate for that left face. But the step motion there, the steps are just teeny tiny, it looks like. Now, obviously, so it's not straight on, but what is a half step for the Air Force? We just I just mentioned it just a moment ago for close and extend. So and you should be marching backwards, Commander. And again, you should be facing your flight. So make sure when you're at the half step that everyone has the heel striking first. So don't have that. Got some toe strikes going on there. All right, I got to pause. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. I'm back. So let's continue on with the sequence here. So interesting. Hold on. I'm trying to discern pivots. 1, 2, 2. Okay, all right. So the element leaders are executing pivots appropriately. That's good. The arm swing, though, second element leader, you. Yeah, your arms are not coordinated with the pivots and getting into that first step. And then, Commander, as soon as you give the command, now you need to start marking time, but you seem to have pivoted a bit too soon, because you pivot and then you mark time some more and then you take off while you're centered on the flight. So really you should be marking time, and then when the center of the flight passes in front of you, then you pivot and start marching at a half step, because you now pivot, mark time, and then half step. So some couple of issues. I know cadet at the back there was out of step and then recovered as quickly as he could. That's not a problem. Understandable there. But your end steps are varied, which is why you have some alignment issues now, and you have some spacing issues also. And Commander, you're still not 3 steps away. So the recovery was pretty decent. You can see some pretty good spacing there in the element leaders. So okay, this young lady here, arm swing is all at the elbows, and it's quite exaggerated. Your flight cap there is tilted back on your head. Now, it could be maybe a gust of wind or something, but really it needs to be brought down, the 2-finger thing there. But column left from a halt can be a little difficult. Pivots. All right, I'm trying to, sorry, I tell you what, I'm going to pause this again. I'm going to watch this about 150 times, and then, so you don't have to do that, and then I'll come back with my analysis. Okay, so it wasn't 150 times. I only had to watch it 75. Now, first element leader, this this position right here, this is first element leader, second, third, and then commander because commander switched the sides and is now on the inside. And why we do that? Because I attended Agua Fria High School. I did this exact same sequence Well, pretty close to this same sequence, but we always change sides. And I don't know. It's big in the Southwest. Kind of weird. Anyway, yeah, not the exact same sequence, but pretty darn close. Of course, my sequence was more difficult, but we also marched uphill to school in the snow in Phoenix, Arizona. Anyway, so first element leader, you are executing the face-in march really well. Excellent job. However, you're taking 4 steps forward and then getting into half step, and it should be 1 step forward and then executing half step. Now, half step for you, it's still going to be the 12 inches from heel to heel as you're marching, but you need to have that half step, not just put your feet closer together, but it needs to be a half step for the rest of the team to be able to march properly as well. Second element leader, you're not executing the face and march at all. You're just stepping off with the left foot kind of at an angle, and I'll play this in just a moment. Then if you want to, you can keep rewinding and or resetting. I guess we should say resetting the video at a certain timestamp, but you're just stepping off. You're not executing a pivot on the toe or the platform, which is the ball of the foot and everything forward. That platform of the right foot, you're not executing the pivot and then kicking that left foot out to make that 45-degree angle. First element leader, 90-degree angle. Third element leader, you're doing it. That's great. Doing a really good job. All three of you need to pivot, but you two, second and third, you need to get that 45-degree angle, and it needs to be sharp, not rounded. And then the rest of the team is having quite a bit of difficulty coming up with the So, unfortunately, that's not to the rear. Air Force requires left foot in front of right, half step. So if I'm going to do it, my boots are actually 12 inches long. So I need to have my left right in front of my left heel in front of my right toe. You're going to pivot. So half step, left in line with the right. Pivot on both of the platforms, and then after you pivot, you're going to take a silly, I wanted to say another word, it kills momentum. It's a stupid thing to do, but this is what the Air Force requires. There, I said it. So pivot around, another half step. Now this time create your walking base that you had initially. You have your feet in line here, but walking, and then next right step is a full step. That half step afterwards is dumb. It just shouldn't be. It kills the momentum that you create after you're going to start marching forward. After that turn. Yeah, arm swing needs a big adjustment. Now everybody seemed to, I want to do this a couple times too. Everybody seemed to execute the rear march almost together. Couple of issues here and there. So turn your heads, all of you. So third element leader, even though you're going to march straight forward, you still need to call the command to the people behind you in your element. So you're going to say forward, snap your head back. The other two are going to say their command of stand fast, but they're going to keep their head angled so that they can see when to call the command of forward march. Good job. Good. Good. Now, I can barely... Yeah, I won't be able to see. So just to make sure, when you have first element moving up, second element is coming over and then coming into alignment, then third, second, and then first element is also coming over. You're only inclining to the right and then inclining to the left. No pivots at all. Properly, I can't really tell. So, third element, again, you need to call over the shoulder. But this time, since you're going to, so first or third element leader, you slowed down the tempo. Everybody else kept the tempo, which technically, third element leader, everybody practice with a metronome. Set your metronome. If you want more information, look at my Instagram and go to DrillMaster metronome, the hashtag DrillMaster metronome, and I explain everything you need to know right there. There's also an article at my website. The element leaders, so what's interesting is since you're going to the left now, you're going to turn your head to the left for the second and first element leaders, and then but for the it's interesting here for the third element leader, you're standing fast, so technically you would call over the right shoulder because you're not going in either direction, but the movement to the left, and I'm fairly certain for uniformity's sake, everybody would then turn their head to the left because the movement goes to the left. Yep. But you need to snap your heads back. As soon as you say column left, then you snap that head back. And then take off. But don't mark time. It's really strange, but Air Force requires element halt coming from the element leader as the element comes up, and it takes tons of practice to get that to where you're aligned and spaced. But Army does this. Army marks time and then calls halt, and that arm swing really is very different for everybody. Hi, Scout. Oh, that didn't look good. Yeah, it's kind of jumbled with the feet there as you go into double time. At double time, you're supposed to raise those arms and then do with the Air Force choo-choo. So half step needs to be step, step, step. Half step, march, step, 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 and not step, 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 because then you never change. You never change foot. If there are others marching with you and you step, 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 then you never change. It's the same thing. It has to be double the time for at least, the two steps there, step, step, and then step. Those two steps, step, step, step. It has to be double the timing there so that you actually do change step. So technically you didn't change step. Oh, you went across because you're going to execute eyes right. And so many cadets think that because you're going to execute eyes right, you need to be on the side of the direct. Yeah, that's not the case. So hold on just a moment. Okay, so let's go. ahead. Watch this. So it's not counter, it's counter column. And you're supposed to go all the way around, but yeah, I know why you're doing this, so that you can stay on this side, and because of the eyes, right, you shouldn't be there. And that's so you called it on the correct foot, but you dropped your salute too soon. You're on the wrong side. Don't change sides. Hi, Max. Don't change sides there, Commander. Several moves ago, and then for counter march, or a counter column. Sorry, Army. So for counter column, you're going to march all the way around twice. You're supposed to be away from the individual who's receiving the salute, not right there. That's a big cadet misnomer. So you've got some timing issues here, some reaction issues. Precision is a little low on certain things. You're doing well on others. So now, in order, and that's, see, everybody moving around after flanks, that's the end step. That's the problem with the end step, and then not getting the your walking base, not obtaining the walking base on the first step after the pivot. So here, again, you need to be 3 steps away, and then all of the alignment and spacing is centered on this position right here, directly behind the commander, and then the element leaders dress to the left, the third rank then dresses to the right, and everybody else covers down. And so you have to get everybody centered and aligned with this cadet right here, who is then directly behind the commander. So that's not an Air Force about face. If you bend the knee, it's not correct. You have to draw the C to make the V, and you keep that right knee straight the whole time. Oh. Not good. That's a bummer. Well, you know where you made some mistakes. I hope my comments have been helpful, and I'll get to your other video soon. But thanks for the request. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, please let me know.